Probably a good thing. Alright.
That was mine. Oh.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks for joining us for today's Path of Exile livestream. We have a packed show today, with announcements for Path of Exile 2, as well as the exclusive unveiling of Path of Exile Affliction, which launches on December 8th on PC and Mac, and on December 13th on console. Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Huntsman wings.
Hell yeah.
We'll start with Path of Exile 2, where Jonathan will walk you through our latest announcements. Mark will then take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Affliction Challenge League, which launches in 1 week. He'll cover the league mechanics, its rewards, some new content we're adding to the core Path of Exile experience, and some large metagame changes.
Oh!
I'll then show you our annual core supporter packs, and we'll head into our live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask us your questions from Twitch chat. After the livestream, we'll drop the full patch notes.
Nice.
I'd like to hand over to Jonathan Rogers, Game Director of Path of Exile 2.
Hey guys, it's been a few months since we introduced you to the Druid in Path of Exile 2, but one of the things that we're really focusing on now is how varied each of the classes feels to play. The Monk darts around quickly from enemy to enemy, building and unleashing combos. If he doesn't stay in combat, he loses momentum and has to build it up again.
Cool. That sounds
This
hectic.
isn't PoE. It's like a different game that looks like PoE. Right?
The Warrior, on the other hand, is like a slow but unstoppable freight train. A warrior commits to big attacks and relies on stunning his enemies to stay safe in the thick of combat. When an
Not
opening
bad.
presents itself, a warrior can use even larger attacks
What a
to
buggy
demolish
game.
his enemies.
Run.
The Huntress seamlessly moves from melee to ranged combat and back. The true damage potential of the Huntress is only unlocked when you learn to combine ranged and melee abilities together.
Huntress was so good. You didn't get to try Huntress, right?
No, I didn't.
And then there are the Spellcasters. The Sorceress is a pure caster who much prefers to stay at range and drop powerful spells on her foes. If she finds herself surrounded by enemies, she would rather use an ability to escape than to take them on directly. The Druid is also a spellcaster, but unlike the Sorceress, he uses his spells as a means to support his melee abilities. And by
Dude, I
melee
love the
abilities, we
volcano
mean he can
thing.
turn into a giant animal and rip his enemies to pieces. Each of these classes feels extremely different to play, but we want to go even further. It's time to check out the Mercenary.
There's not a job out there I won't take, so long as the pay's good and a crossbow can solve
It's
it.
like a Twitch streamer. Oh, that's the was dude.
Yeah, they finally confirmed it. That'd be a good option to have.
You like options.
I'll
I
take
do like
them all
options.
down, one bolt at a time.
When thinking about each new class, we really try to think about how we can make combat feel different from all the others. For the Mercenary, that difference is the crossbow. A crossbow is fundamentally different than a regular bow because it fires instantly instead of needing to be drawn back. This means that you need immediate feedback. Clicking the fire button should make the character shoot instantly, just like in a shooter. As soon as we experienced that, we realized that there are a lot of design lessons to learn from shooters, and so we fully embraced them. In Path of Exile 2, we have crossbows that work like sniper rifles,
That actually looks nice.
shotguns, and assault rifles.
So weird to see, man.
But in order to really get shooter-like gameplay, we wanted to go further. In Path of Exile 2, we now support WASD movement. You can now walk around in any direction independent of aiming. In fact, if this is
It'd
your
be so
preferred
big
method
for
of
stealth,
gameplay,
too.
you can use it on any class, regardless of what weapon type you're using. You can change between click to move or WASD at any time. You can only hold 2 crossbows at a time, but Path of Exile 2 is all about interesting combinations of abilities, and this is where ammo skills come in. This is a burst shot crossbow, and right now I have armor piercing ammo equipped, which makes it very effective when facing a group of enemies, since it
Should have
pierces
kept the
right through
audio
them.
thing.
Bloody horrors!
Armor piercing bolt.
But there are other ammos too. For a bigger single target, it might be a good idea to switch to Incendiary. The more projectiles hit the
bolt.
target, the stronger the ignite, so you'll want to get up nice, close and personal with this one. If you have a bunch of targets running at you, you might want to slow them down. In this case, you could switch to Permafrost Burst Shot. Shooting a bunch of smaller
bolt.
enemies at range will chill them, and potentially even freeze them in place. Once you have some frozen enemies though, you can switch back to Armor Piercing.
Oh,
Shooting
weird,
a
we've done
frozen
some
enemy
PoE.
with Armor Piercing Burst Shot will explode the ice, doing a huge amount of damage to all nearby enemies. Another feature crossbows have is attachments. This is a grenade launcher. As you can see, when I equip it, it appears on the underside of the crossbow. These attachments are just like skill gems, so you effectively get extra skill slots, and you can augment these with support gems, just like regular skills.
Fire in the hole!
These grenades take a while to explode, so it's a good idea to pair them with some kind of crowd control, like Permafrost Burst Shot. We have other grenades too though. This attachment is a flash grenade. It does barely any damage, but it does a huge amount of stun. It can be a great opener before you run into combat.
You're getting explosives.
Surprise!
Yeah, turn Blim on for
Now,
that
here's
one.
another attachment, an oil grenade. Firing one of these grenades coats the ground and nearby enemies in oil. Oil
Covering
slows
in
enemies
oil.
down, so it's another useful crowd control mechanic.
Almost got stacked.
Now, another thing that oil can do is be set on fire. Any burning enemy or explosion will ignite the oil, causing extra burning damage.
Wow. Literally Bat Rider.
One of the problems with burst shot crossbows is that each pellet doesn't do much damage individually. This means that if enemies have armor, then it will be very effective preventing that damage. But thankfully, you can equip an additional crossbow in your second weapon set to deal with the weaknesses of your primary weapon. This is a rapid shot crossbow. Rapid shot is great for closing on enemies because you can shoot while running. In Path of Exile 2, we now have the ability to allow you to use some skills while moving. Being
be so
able to
nice.
create skills like this opens up a lot of new design space and allows us to really increase the pace of combat.
Well, I don't know about increasing the pace of combat. I mean,
The armor-piercing version of Rapid Shot slowly erodes a monster's armor. Once the armor is fully broken, you can easily switch back to Burst Shot to deal much more damage.
But armor on mobs matters?
yeah.
Okay.
Being able to run while shooting with Rapid Shot is also great for when you want to perform a fighting retreat.
He runs at the same speed I do.
Using permafrost ammo with Rapid Shot is also useful if you need to retreat. When you shoot the ground, it creates ice crystals. If you draw monsters back over these crystals, they explode, chilling the monsters. It's great if you want to set up a safe zone before pulling the next pack.
It is very different gameplay from PoE.
There.
Slowing enemies down can come in handy if you want to use the incendiary version of Rapid
From
Shot.
Gauntlet.
Using this skill requires that you charge up a little bit before it fires, but as it continues to heat up, it will do more and more damage.
I'm just gonna walk.
It has a
with that
really
and
large
hold it
clip
for the
size, so
entire
you can
map.
just keep firing and firing with it. But the other really useful feature is that when the crossbow is heated up, it adds extra fire damage to any grenade that you launch. Now I've been using explosive grenades here, but it will work equally as well with flash or oil grenades too. If you use it with oil grenades, the oil will catch fire immediately.
Are you like me? You kind of want to see real gameplay.
Yeah, I kind of really want to see a player play it. It's very slow.
Another crossbow type that you can find is
Called
Power
Ben.
Shot. This one works just like a classic sniper rifle. Use it with armor-piercing ammo and it will penetrate armor on targets. So it's a good idea to use when something's really tough.
Back down or die!
For chaos damage.
Now this skill has another interesting interaction with armor break. If an enemy has its armor broken, then your Power Shot hits a weak spot and does a huge amount of single target damage, with a bunch of extra stun for good measure.
Dang. Yeah, it's always pet mob, dude. Brutal.
Now, the incendiary version of Power Shot is more
no,
like
I'm
a
like
rocket
that.
launcher. It does a big explosive blast at a distance.
Newborn.
One of the really useful features of this version is that you can explode any grenades that happen to be on the ground.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder what endgame will look like.
This combo also works really well with Incendiary Rapid Shot. I'm going to charge up the heat on my crossbow, shoot out a bunch of grenades, and then start the fireworks with a Power Shot.
A lot of the gameplay they show off, chat, is like demonstration. Hence the one
To
thing.
be fair, even their
The ice
PoE1
version of Power
trailers are
Shot
very
creates
slow.
frost walls at a distance.
Yeah.
This is great for crowd controlling monsters in tight passages. The wall segments have other uses too. If they get destroyed by monsters, then they will explode, doing a small amount of damage.
Rock him in!
Now, remember that burst shot combo with frozen enemies we did earlier? That works with ice walls too. Let's put burst shot back on. Now I can fill up this area with ice walls, then shoot them with armor-piercing burst shot for a huge amount of damage.
It reminds me how Trip used to play PoE when he first started. He used to
Yep.
cast Frostball and then ground slam behind the Frostball.
Yeah.
That was a classic, dude.
Alright, it's time to face the boss for this area. Let's see how we fare against her with all the skills I've shown you so far.
It's Chet's mom!
That's very scary.
Oh no!
She got done fast.
They get a haircut because of
See, I actually really want boss fights like this to not be over instantly.
yeah.
But I want higher clear speed on monsters. That is fucking cursed.
Oh my god, it's the Quins! The little Quins, dude.
But it's like... That's so fucked. Yeah, I don't know. This could be even slower for all I care. Because it's on a one link. I just want like a bigger change between bosses and clearing.
The bosses are so cool, man.
Yeah. Clearing is way too slow. That does actually do a decent amount of damage when he hits those. Is that it, Tick? It is.
It's that for the boys.
When I want nudity in my games, this is not what I meant.
It's still true, by the way, that if you die, the entire fight resets, right?
Yeah.
What is going on in this god's-forsaken city?
And that's the Mercenary. It feels totally different than anything we've made before. and shows you the range of what's possible in Path of Exile 2.
That's the most Souls-like gameplay I've ever seen.
Yeah. I like the bosses.